Now, he's currently on leave as president of Metro Hartford Alliance, Griebel.
Thanks, Dan. Good evening, everyone. And I think we're not only sitting in alphabetical order. I have a feeling, knowing everybody's birthdays, we're sitting in ascending age. So my slogan tonight is vote for the old guy. Briefly, I live down the road in Simsbury. My background, briefly, is I went to Dartmouth College, taught school in Worcester for several years, coached sports, went to work for what was then Bank of Boston for over 22 years, came down here. For those of you familiar with Society for Savings, when we acquired that bank, worked for a couple of years at McDermott Corporation in Waterbury for the last 9, as Dan said, have been with the Metro Hartford Alliance. During the time here, I've also served on a variety of boards, from the Bushnell to Northwest Catholic High School, coached sports here in the area, and coached booting against teams here in Canton and Avon. We've had a great experience living here. Simply say, why do you run it, having never run before? What causes you to throw your hat in the ring? Quite simply, just to play off of what you've already heard, we're all concerned about the future of this state and the diminishing opportunities that people have, both those who are working today as well as young people who are looking to come into the workforce. So we benefited from this state, and I feel the obligation, like everyone else, to give back and make sure that the strengths that we have in this state are maintained and leveraged for the current people working today as well as those coming in the future. I said the other day in an announcement that Obama mentioned that Washington suffers from a deficit of trust. I think the state of Connecticut suffers from a deficit of confidence. Confidence by the business community in the future, confidence by individuals in their future here. And I think it's critical that the leadership, or the governor providing leadership, that we restore that confidence. So let me just briefly, in the time allowed, talk on 3 basic themes. One about thinking big, secondly about speaking candidly, and third about acting decisively. In the area of thinking big, I think the governor has to be the chief economic development officer, the chief business development officer, the chief opportunity officer for the state. And something you've already heard up here, that means going out and visiting businesses on a regular basis of all sizes, understanding what their needs are, trying to make sure we recruit the businesses that are here to stay here, going out nationally. There are governors that come into this state and recruit our business. I said if we don't have a hungry governor, in Connecticut, there are 49 others that are happy to eat our lunch. So it's important that the governor get up every day and understand, reach out to businesses. You can't do it in the corner office. There has to be that marketing component, that recruitment component that's critical to getting the businesses that are here today to understand, of all sizes, why they should stay here and bringing others in. Mike made the point about recruitment. I think going over to Europe periodically, to Germany and UK, for example, on a regular basis is an important part of reaching out. I'd also say that under the area of thinking big, we have to understand how we're going to invest. What is it that government should do? And I would say one of the things that government should do in the economic area is provide the right infrastructure, transportation among them. And one of the things I've said and will continue to say is we need to find a way to replace about $250 million that was taken out of our Transportation Investment Fund when we cut the gasoline tax 9 years ago. It needs to be funded. We need to find a way to get that back in so we can repair our roads and bridges. We can have the mass transit we want. And we have to find a way to lock that money away from the general fund so it can go into the infrastructure. Similarly, we need to work very closely with UConn, for example, in the medical school to make sure that that medical school attains top-tier status, that we leverage the hospitals in this area so that healthcare can be a real economic driver, not only as a quality of life asset. Number 2, under speaking candidly, everybody's talked about the budget. I think there's specific things that we have to go after. And I'm prepared to talk about those now as we go forward. In the area of state employment, yes, we do have to look seriously at the number of people. Our population has been essentially flat for 30 years, while our employment growth, state employment growth, has gone from roughly 40,000 to 55,000 that Mark mentioned. But also the cost of those employees have to be dealt with in terms of the benefit package. I've mentioned before we have to look hard at whether we should move our state. We should look hard at what to move our state employee benefit packages from a defined benefit plan to a defined contribution plan. If you're in the private sector and you have a benefit plan at all, I'd be willing to bet a dollar to your nickel that you have a defined benefit plan, that you don't have a guaranteed health plan and a guaranteed pension plan along the lines you have. Those add significant costs structurally to our deficits that have to be addressed. I said we need to look at our higher ed system. We have a great University of Connecticut. We have a great Central Connecticut State University system. Do we need to have 2 administrative systems? Are there opportunities to pull those together? So I look forward in the area of acting decisively. I think there are things that a governor has to do. Yes, you take ideas in. Yes, you get the private sector and others to give you those ideas, but ultimately you're the one that has to go and enact those actions and campaign hard for them. So I look forward to working with all of you as we go forward. Look forward to earning your support and moving forward to make sure that we have a much more pro-business environment starting next January.